Thank you. Today, the old way of doing business is dead. Today, we witness the birth of a new way of thinking about business, wealth creation, and our social well-being. Today, our strong desire for change and the tools and technology around us give us an opportunity to transform our lives. I will tell you how, but first, let's have a look at the region we live in. This is the Mediterranean, also called Middle of the Earth. It's probably one of the most diverse, culturally richest parts of the world, with so many languages, religions, ethnicities. Today we're going to focus on the southern Mediterranean. More specifically, I'm going to describe it using three main ideas. Number one is how many of us live here. Number two is how many of us actually have jobs. And number three is how easy is it to create jobs and start businesses. I'm going to start with the first one. In the year 2050, our population would have doubled. In less than 40 years. That's one generation. That's a lot of people. The problem is our people don't work. In fact, 1 out of 4 young people in North Africa don't have a job, giving us the highest unemployment rate in the world. It gets worse. Because doing business in the southern Mediterranean is extremely difficult. The average ranking being more than 100. So we have a situation where a lot of people, a lot of us don't work, and it's difficult to create jobs. And unless we do something about this, we're going to get into serious trouble. Fortunately, some people are doing something about this. They're called entrepreneurs. They are people who are pushing our economic boundaries and are reinventing what it means to be competitive in the 21st century. And today I'm going to introduce you to some of them. This is Transterra Media. It launched in Cairo a few years ago. It's currently based in Beirut, and it's transforming the news industries globally. What it does, it combines the best of social media and the best of traditional journalism and merges them together. The result is a digital platform that connects journalists, vetted journalists, with video footages and enables them to sell these footages to news agencies globally. This is Presella. Presella is an e-ticketing, online ticketing platform for the Middle East. They started about a year ago. They're all about 20 years old. And they are conquering the Middle East in terms of events. They started very locally, knowing people, going to small events and taking care of all the ticketing. They're also introduced a crowdfunding feature. They're democratizing the event creation process. So anyone with an idea to create a workshop in the Middle East can go to their platform, create an event, and hold the event only if enough people show up and pay for these tickets. A third example is Shahiyya. This is one lady who launched this website about a year ago as well. It's a cooking recipe portal for the Arab world, and today she has more than 50% market share in the Saudi Arabian market. So I know some of these people personally because I've worked with them, and I think that what they have in common is 3 things. A strong desire to create something new, to build something from scratch, to change the way things happen. And they use the tools and the technology that is available to us today through the internet. And third, they have a process. They started from having an idea to implementing it to successful business that is creating jobs and opportunities. Let's look at the first one. I think desire for change is everywhere today in the southern Mediterranean. You only need to walk in the streets to feel the desire for change. And if desire for change is in the streets, the technology that is at our disposal today is in our homes. Today, we have one of the highest growth of internet rates penetration in the world, around 18%. So let me tell you what this means. I'm going to give you an example of how my grandfather started a business in the 20th century. So he had a job, he had to save enough money, stay in his job, and then decide to quit, rent a new shop, buy merchandise, renovate the shop, start selling, make a profit, save enough to start a new location. And over the course of 40 or 50 years, he did pretty well. This is what he did in the 20th century, and this is what I would do in the 21st century. I would create a logo at zilliondesigns.com, create a launch page to test my market at launchrock.co, buy a domain and host it at godaddy.com, learn whatever I want to learn from lynda.com, hire developers in Bangladesh using freelancer.com, use a project management tool called Insightly, collaborate using Dropbox and MindJet, find my customers on social media and by blogging on WordPress.com, and finally communicate with my clients and partners globally for free using Skype. So 9 tools, set this whole thing in 9 days with less than $400. That's the power of the 21st century. You can start a business with less money, and it's less risky. You don't have to quit your job. You can start working on it in the afternoons, and at some point when you have a business that is up and running, quit your job. And you are global from day one. So it is overwhelming. There's a lot of things in there and a lot of tools, and we have to give it time before we learn how to use all these tools. And thankfully, that's where accelerators come in. Accelerators give us a process. They give us a technique from going all the way from idea to implementation to actual business. Actually, speaking of accelerators, I think it's time I told you what I do. So my name is Azar, and I was studying in New York a few years ago. Came back to Lebanon, started working with a family business in real estate development. And very quickly I realized how difficult it is to start a business in Lebanon, in Beirut. For one, electricity is always on and off. The internet is extremely slow. Well, it's getting better, but it's still very slow. And it's very difficult to find people who share your passion, my passion, in building innovative, scalable business using the 21st century tools. So what I did is the following. I teamed with a few people, and we built 3 things. We built a cafe, we built a shared workspace, and we built conference rooms. A cafe where people eat, drink, meet, with LCD screens, monitoring international news channels, making this a really friendly cafe for people who are bloggers, who are journalists, media content producers. We created a shared workspace where people sit side by side working on their laptops individually on their individual businesses. And we created conference rooms for events, workshops, trainings, pitch fests. So 3 things: a cafe, a shared workspace, and conference rooms. All in one unique open floor plan space in downtown Beirut. We made sure electricity is always on. We made sure it is connected to other centers of innovation around the world. And we called it Alt City, which is Alternative City. So what is Alt City? In one sentence, it's a hub for innovators in the fields of media, design, and technology. We're trying to help build the next generation of digital leaders in the region. And over the last 2 years, we've had over 5,000 people use our space. So they're using it, but how? So we started opening it up for people to come and organize workshops and trainings. And bit by bit, we started organizing some workshops and trainings, competitions, hackathons, pitch fests, a contest to create the best mobile app, a training to learn coding on iOS or Android, a course on photography and graphic design. That's how we started. And then bit by bit, people start coming to us and say, hey, I want to organize this workshop. And bit by bit, communities started forming around these specific interests. Communities of interest, communities of support. People started helping each other, partnering with each other. And over the last 2 years, we've had over 500 of these events with more than 100 partners, both locally and internationally. So what accelerators do is they provide a pipeline of investable projects. So they graduate in a limited period of months, a fixed number of startups who have gone through the very early stages of company formation. So the ideation process, they probably have some validation. We get them to the stage where an investor would come in and say, I want to put in $200,000 for 30% of your company. We give incubation, so financial incubation and business incubation. We make sure that businesses aren't worried about legal stuff and administrative stuff. We're making sure that these things are covered. We have our contractors and we work with them. And accelerators provide a network, which is extremely crucial and important for any company at the formation stage. So a network where they can meet customers, clients, and investors. So this is not new. I mean, these accelerators are mushrooming all over the world. And in this region as well. We think we need them more than anyone else because the problems, the challenges that we have ahead of us mean that we have to take radical action. And we think we have a unique opportunity. Listen to me. I think we have a unique opportunity to leverage all this desire for change, the tools that we have, and change the course of our lives. We think the stars are aligned. The first star is desire for change. The second is technology, the tools that we have access to. And the third star is accelerators. We have no excuses. What will you do? Thank you.